Oh boy, Amazon's in a little bit of hot water. In fact, companies like Alphabet, owners of Google and Apple, they've got Amazon in their crosshairs, and for good reason. They're putting out adult content that kids could easily get their hands hold of. Hey, also, you can build your own website for a fraction of the cost using a book marketing service. What? Speaking of book marketing services, there is a book marketing service that would like to help you out with your Facebook and Amazon ads. All that in today's self-publishing news for April the 24th, 2023. Let's just jump right on into it because, boy, this news is going to be short yet impactful. And we're going to start it out with an item that actually my wife kind of kicked towards my direction here. And because this is a no-no word, I'm not going to use the P word. We're just going to say adult content on Amazon's Kindle app prompts warnings from Apple and Alphabet. Oh, yes. Believe it or not, there are still some ne'er-do-wells, if you will, that are publishing through the KDP platform. People that are putting explicit photographs in there of not just nudity, but sexual acts. Yes. Yeah. Call me crazy, but who put that through? Who was the rep over at KDP that said, that seems okay, and then just pushes it right through? Because what ended up happening is there were parents that were discovering, okay, Kindle Unlimited is available. It's about $10 per month. I can be able to give essentially like a library to my kid to go ahead and check things out. Now, of course, people can probably make the argument, yes, parents need to be policing what their kids are doing, but man, that is really easily accessible, and it's showing adult content to children. How is this going through? And I know for sure because I've read the terms of service for KDP, it's not allowed. But somehow it's still flying under the radar. It's still making money going through here. And so Apple and Alphabet got together and were saying, hey, look, that's got to stop. In fact, Alphabet said, we are not going to push your site anymore if you continue to let this stuff go on. And it's kind of appalling. I'm not a parent myself, but I think having things like this available so easily, and of course we can bring up the fact also that most erotica is put into what's called the adult dungeon, okay? It's not easily searchable because it needs to be searched through specific keywords and there's specific categories. There's no specific ranking when it comes to erotica. Well, now Kindle Vella makes it completely easy. Hey, erotica, here you go. All you got to do is get some tokens. So can you imagine if a kid just gets all these tokens and now they've got adult content freely available? Wow. Amazon, you've fallen asleep at the wheel on this one. That is a really, really big mistake. All right, let's move a little bit further forward here into some of the news here. And one of the news items actually comes from the folks over at Apple Books for Authors. And inside their email, they more recently had shared Apple Books now accepts EPUBs with interior images of up to 5.6 million pixels. That's a lot, folks. To calculate the total pixel count, multiply the height of the image by the width. Apple recommends providing images that are at least 1.5 times the intended viewing size. The 5.6 million pixel limit does not apply to the cover art image that is sent alongside the book asset. So this is a good step in the right direction, especially for those of you out there that are publishing books with a lot of graphics. For me, when I first broke into the business, I was publishing a lot of fitness books, and there were a lot of pictures, obviously doing demonstrations of exercises. And so going to a platform like Apple Books for Authors, I had to kind of bring down the image quality, and it suffers. You're going to get lower reviews because if it's lower image quality, the customers are going to be like, this is really garbage. So this is a great step in the right direction. Really appreciate seeing something like this. And speaking of appreciation, I appreciate the Alliance of Independent Authors. They're always putting out great content. Folks, make sure you go over to selfpublishingadvice.org to get more details about Ally. But at any rate, they talked about the Indie Author Income Survey shows indie authors earn more. Ooh, this is good news, right? So according to them, they had actually polled, let's see here, a total of, huge thank you to more than 2,000 of you from across the globe who took part in this survey. From what they say, gloomy surveys have shown author incomes decreasing for years now. The current median income around the $6,000 to $8,000 mark. But there has been no way of knowing how self-published authors fit into the picture. So Ally commissioned a survey to find out, and the results are startling. Median income is $12,000, and for 53% of respondents, that figure is rising, and the mean average is an eye-watering $86,000. What's more, although indies have a broad and entrepreneurial portfolio, most of that income is from books. So this is starting to show proof of concept. Now, 2000 is obviously just a small piece of the pie, but if you've been an author or an aspiring author that's been tire kicking, wondering like, oh, I don't see enough paycheck flexing videos and reports, here we go. There is proof from a small subset of authors, 2,000 authors, we have found that the mean average is $86,000. Now, that can definitely pay the bills for quite a few of you around the world. And unless, of course, you're living in New York City, at that point, you're probably having some issues. But nonetheless, this is that proof of concept if you've been waiting for one in order to publish your very next book. If you're finding that you're discouraged thinking it's not possible, it is 100% possible. You just got to get out your own way and start to really put in the work and put in the effort. Hey, moving a little further forward to one of my favorite resources in Reedsy. Reedsy's always putting out some great workshops, and this one's about how to write a draft zero and silence your inner editor. I need to get on this particular workshop. It's actually on Wednesday, April the 26th. It's between 3 and 4 p.m. It's Eastern Daytime. It's 100% free to go ahead and do that. It's going to be hosted by best-selling author S.J. Watson. It's going to show you how to shut out your inner editor and get your first draft finished. I am looking forward to this. You're going to learn about why it's important to separate the two stages of the process, how to give yourself permission to write badly, and how to listen to what the work is telling you, and techniques for staying flexible. So this is one you're going to want to definitely go take a look at. And speaking of taking a look at, there was a lot of folks out there that have asked me over the years, Dale, is there someone who can do my ads for me? Can I find someone who will do Amazon ads? Can I find someone who will do Facebook ads? The good news is Written Word Media does this. Now, this is not a paid spot. They are not giving me any kind of compensation. I don't have an affiliate link. I'm just telling you this, and it's not an endorsement. I'm just going to let you know that you can find more readers with digital ads. Part of the Written Word Media's Reader Reach, that is trademarked, by the way, helps you find a new audience for your book through ads on Facebook or Amazon. We do all the heavy lifting for you, from ad creative and copy to audience targeting and bidding. We have you covered so you don't miss out on a single opportunity for your book. Let me go ahead and summarize just some of the stuff, and I might be a little bit off, so my apologies, because you want to make sure you visit some of these links. From my understanding, whatever you're investing in their services, half of that goes to ad spend and the other half goes to Written Word Media. I've heard some mixed results when it comes to using both their Facebook and Amazon ads. Some people say it's good. Some people say they've broken even. And I've heard some people that said they've made their money back, which is great. It's fantastic. So more recently, they had really started to dial in a lot of what they're doing with their reach. In fact, they're actually opening up new categories in general nonfiction, self-help and how-to, and business and finance. So all of my nonfiction brethren out there, take advantage of that opportunity. Obviously, there's already a ton of fiction options out there for reader reach and getting engaged in something like that. So make sure you go ahead and take a look at that and let them know Dale sent you on over there. I actually interviewed the founder and CEO of Written Word Media. His name's Farrell Vernon. Farrell is just a breath of fresh air, just a quality human being, like what he's doing over there. And I think I might take him up on the Facebook ads management someday here soon, because it just sounds like a lot of fun. Let's go on over to Ingram Spark. Ingram Spark actually, they go under fire quite a bit sometimes. Some people are like, oh no. In fact, I saw in Discord more recently where some people were just a little bit upset about an email that they sent out. And the email is a business update. In fact, I'll read it for you. In the past few months, we've noticed that some online retailers are reevaluating their ordering practices as they relate to non-returnable books. In order to maximize the availability of your books, we would encourage you to review the returnability status of your books. Your books that are set up as non-returnable could be at risk for decreased sales. To learn how to update the returnability status of books, please read this help desk article, which of course, if you're watching the visual element here on YouTube, that's the page that I'm on currently. Just a fair warning. If you do enable returns through Ingram Spark here, folks, you are liable for those expenses, meaning you're going to have to pay for the print costs, you're going to have to pay for the shipping costs, and you're going to have to pay whether you take it yourself or you have them destroyed. This can add up big time. And if some brick and mortar store, some mom and pop shop accidentally orders, they want to order 10 and they accidentally put an extra 0 behind it, which I don't think that would be possible. I would hope not. They order 100 copies. They can go ahead and return all of those if you allow that to happen. And you're going to have to pay for that excess amount of stuff. It is absolutely one of those things. I've heard a good friend of mine, Julie Broad from Book Launchers, she endorses it. She says, yeah, it's great. The occasions of that happening are few and far between, but I've had some horror stories where some people have said they've had to pay upwards of, thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars. In fact, I actually covered it on the podcast some time ago where there was a British writer who actually ended up having to pay over £10,000 for returned books. Be careful, folks. Brick and mortar really isn't all that in a bag of chips, all right? It's not all that. If you really, really want to get into brick and mortar, might I recommend that you just do that yourself. Go speak with a manager and maybe co-sign something or consign something. Co-sign, there we go. That's what we're going to do, Dale. Any rates, yeah, just be careful, folks, if you turn returns on. Ingram Spark is going to make money either way, all right? So that means that if you have that return on, someone buys it, it gets returned, Ingram Spark's going to make a profit. Let's say you don't have the return on, all right? Book goes and buys your book, all right? They can't return it. Ingram Spark makes money. Either way, they make money. So just understand that they're a company. They got to pay for their overhead somehow. Don't look at it as like a conspiracy theory or anything else like that. They're not out to get you, but they are in the business of making money. And when there are returns that are happening, they can't eat that cost. So somebody's got to. And that's why I think, be careful, folks. And hey, really, really awesome. I want to bring up a very neat feature. And actually, I got a personal email from the founder of Story Origin, a great book marketing app. It is one I get wholeheartedly behind and I endorse. And by the way, you get access to that at dalelinks.com/storyorigin. But let me go ahead and read the actual email to you that he sent to me because this is super exciting. And any event, let's bring this on camera here. Any rate, tired of Story Origin's long, ugly URLs? Part 1, you can now add a custom domain for your Story Origin landing pages to create, for example, instead of a long one like storyoriginApp.com/yada, yada, yada, you can do it like something as simple as evangao.com/Dracula. And by the way, if you've already owned the domain, you just have to get it, redirected in there, and he shows you exactly how to do it. Part 2, you can also create redirects as well, like you would do with like Bitly, but on your own domain. So kind of like what we just said. Part 3, on top of that, you can check out click stats for these links on the stats tab of your dashboard. There's more though. It's almost like the ShamWow, and there's more. Part 4, you can also generate a simple landing page to showcase your books. And he actually shared just a little bit of this, and it's a really nice, clean looking page where it shows the author's book and other books that are available for free, and they can be able to easily check out on something like this. So it's really, really super clean. The next thing is Story Origin will automatically acquire an SSL certificate for you, so your links will be HTTPS as opposed to HTTP. Now, if you're not familiar, there are some search engines that will suppress anything without an SSL certificate, meaning that it's safe to go ahead and approach. So having the SSL makes a huge difference. Now you're probably saying, well, what's that mean? It essentially means that you can use this as an author website. If you've been kind of tied up and you've said, I don't know WordPress, I don't have time for WordPress, I don't want to go to Squarespace. I don't have the money for any of those type of things. But if you've got the money to get a domain name, which you can find a good domain name for like $8 for the first year at namecheap.com. I've got an affiliate link, but you guys can just look that up. Namecheap does about $8. Worst case scenario, you find a good domain name, it's about $15 per year, tops. With the exception of probably some more niche type ones. But all that to say this, if you can afford $15 per year, as well as I think the $10 per month or $100 per year for Story Origin, you literally can make your own website. Super, super simple. I love that feature. Speaking of loving features, folks, I'm a huge fan of Miblark, and they actually have a sister company named Get Covers. And they more recently have brought up that, let's move this on over here. They are going to be doing a limited time sale of their covers. Now, mind you, Get Covers is inexpensive. I mean, super inexpensive. So inexpensive that it's like $10 for an ebook cover, $20 for an ebook and print cover. And all that to say this, that they are now running a very limited time special on logos. So if you've been looking to get a logo for your brand, for your books or your publishing imprint, now's the time to do it. You can get 20% off a custom logo design with Logo 20. Now that's spelled Logo 20. And you're going to want to make sure you do it in all caps, Logo 20 to get 20% off. They got quick turnaround of about 1 to 3 days, 100% money back guaranteed, unlimited revisions. Their basic package with one concept is $8. Standard package with 2 concepts is $16. And the premium package with 2 concepts and brand guidelines is $32. Love it, love it, love it. Definitely really awesome. And speaking of really, really awesome, one of my favorite content creators and YouTubers, and one of the people that I aspired to be like when I first broke into YouTube, is Derek Murphy. And Derek is always just coming out really, really cool tools. And I think you guys and gals are going to love this new one called Ghost the Writer. All right. Now it is AI, but the purposes behind this is to kind of grease the creative wheels and get you started up. It's not going to write an entire book to my knowledge. What it's going to do though is it's going to prompt you with some stuff. And here's the cool thing. Let's say you don't know what you want to write about. You can always just hit a little button that says surprise me. And for instance, I hit surprise me. It says write a story about a former far left secretary who rents a minivan until an evil power changes everything. And if I hit boo, what it'll do is it'll generate this little short form chapter and a synopsis, if you will, of what's going on. And I think this is really neat. Derek is just a mad genius on so many levels. I've played around with it for a little bit. So if you're excited about AI or if you're turned off by AI, go take a look at it either way and just play around with it. It'll at least grease your creative wheels and you won't feel like you're stealing content from another writer or anything else like that. I like the fact also there's a filter that you can use on selecting an author if you want to do a specific tone. So let's just say, for instance, I want to sound like John Steinbeck. I would hit John Steinbeck. Or if I want to sound like Edgar Allan Poe, or if I want to sound like Mary Shelley, all those type of things. It's really, really cool. So go check it out at ghostthewriter.com. I've got no affiliate link for that one. I just think Derek is a super guy. He actually said too, if you run out of credits, which you get 5,000 right out the rip, unless you got a VPN. I'm sorry, Derek. I've told people how to kind of work around the system. If you got a VPN, you can definitely go get those credits renewed every single time if you want to. But if you want to get additional credits beyond the credits that he gives you, you can use Ghost 20 to get 20% off additional credits. Hey, as we start to wrap up today's news segment, I want to, of course, give a shameless self-plug for my new video-on-demand platform, The Self-Publishing Hub. Learn more about online business, from publishing books to monetizing your brand and the inner workings of online entrepreneurship to affiliate marketing. You can do that all for $9.99 per month. You can start when you like, cancel whenever you want. It will be of no consequence. Heck, if you went and got 1 month and canceled it after that month because you binged all over 100 videos, kudos to you, by the way. That's pretty impressive. But I plan to expand that even more. You can take a look at the Self-Publishing Hub over at theselfpublishinghub.com. Again, remember theselfpublishinghub.com to get yourself access today. What did you think about some of those news items? Was there anything that I missed over the past week? You can go ahead and give me a shout out over on Discord in the Discord community at dalelinks.com/Discord. Till later, this has been Self-Publishing with Dale, and I'll catch you in next week's news. Hey, thanks so much for tuning in. Special shout out to my channel members for both the podcast channel and the main channel. Without your support, some projects we do at Self-Publishing with Dale would be much harder to fund. If you want to contribute to the cause, visit dalelinks.com/memberships for details and get your on-screen shout out at the end of each broadcast. Till later, this has been Self-Publishing with Dale, and I'll see you soon.